When we stabilize this openness in our lives, we are no longer operating from within the constraints of individual consciousness. We can feel the actuality of these siddhi energies, these wisdom energies just rippling through, alive and radiant, and a soft, seamless translucency. This is what we are. This is our birthright. When our love flows authentically, free of attachment to outcome, it manifests as a radiant full presence with all we encounter, including the one on your seat. And so our willingness to be fully open to what we describe as our life is an expression of deep care, of harmony with ourselves. And from becoming so intimately true with ourselves, we emit harmonious healing gift waves in this boundless radiant field of empty awareness space, in this interconnected sea of beings. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey Terry.
Good morning.
Hi Sally.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome everybody. Good morning everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm looking around a little bit at all your faces and some of your names. Lots of old friends and new friends. Welcome. Good to see you. Maybe don't be looking at my big head. This is a group self-liberation. So maybe go up to the right here in the Zoom window and have the view where you can see everyone. Gallery view, that's what it's called. Sitting as a group, right, there's a resonance between us. So we come to groups often just because we feel like a certain measure of accountability and camaraderie. But there is also the actuality of this beingness. There's a resonance between us. And within that resonance, as we are the resonance, and it facilitates each other's self-liberation, awakening. So good Sunday morning, you miraculous awakening wonders. How amazing, of all the millions of things you could have chosen to do, you come to this space. On behalf of everyone, thank you, thank you. Let's take a breath together right away. Your mouth open, release. Just relax the mind. Just being here, maybe I say a few things, but don't have it so binary. Oh, this is the meditation and this is some movement. This is where we already habituate, just being open among movement and stillness. So this being with us, this shining from the heart. There's actually a desire to sit here as a collective, open to the indeed actuality of healing and loving beingness between us. That is the resonance of the Buddha as the Sangha, as the collective. So feeling that. And I'm not afraid to use the word desire, which is often frowned upon in certain circles. I mean desire in its most pure expression. So when desire is not arising from timeless awareness, from timeless beingness, then yes, it has a tendency to spin out of control and turn into greed. And if we looked into all the misinformed desires in this world, we find that at the heart of them all is the same longing. It's that longing for the wish for beingness, to be fully alive, to be fully here. And the most important first opening to self-liberation is the recognition that awareness is not the same as the mind with the small m. The recognition that awareness is not the same as the habitual or finite mind. And the lacking of this recognition, of our fullness, of our everythingness and wide openness, and potentiality of love and wisdom is the origin of all painful drama in the world. So maybe take another breath and feel into that desire, which is all, just feel into your heart. The heart essence, as Longchenpa often says, the 13th century sage, 14th century, 1308 or something, he was born. He often uses Vajra heart essence, the origin of all beingness. And right there, notice that beautiful, innocent desire for happiness, which matures as the happiness for all beings. Can you feel into that, please? So often there's then a guiding awareness in the head, coming down, going to the heart, but really it's already there. So just open up to the origin of your beingness and being fullness in the world, like in the heart, and maybe set the intent arising from this desire for awakening in an awakening world. So maybe feeling this transition right away from moving from the pattern mind movements to just this openness and feeling the potentiality of all the goodness already present in your heart right now, shimmering with potentiality. The Buddha arising in your heart and on your seat. And one of the people that helped with this transition, around the 1st or 2nd century, was Nagarjuna, who was the first one to start it using shunyata, not as emptiness, but as openness. So right there it becomes more, I don't even want to use the word positive, but more potentiality for the ease into the opening to everything we are. Because feeling empty on a bad day is not the same as feeling open on a good day. So this isn't the emptiness of absence, it is the openness of awareness itself, the openness to being in ourselves, in the world. So could you please sense from the heart essence desire for awakening of all beings? Notice that openness. And that openness has a somatic, it's an embodiment, right? We feel that, the openness and the energy. And when you feel into that openness, that is not the promise of future liberation. That is the Guru within right now. It is the boundless openness of the field of being between us. Alan Watts once said, people sometimes fail to live because they're always preparing to live. A lot of us yogis and aspiring yogis have that a little bit too. We're always preparing to awaken, preparing to become enlightened. No, right now. Often it is said that in Dzogchen and Mahamudra we can become enlightened in one lifetime. Even that, a lifetime, why not right now? And then we begin shifting from practice to praxis, no longer just applying a method, but living it, being open as timeless awareness. So again, when we go back to what I said earlier, that the mind with a small m is not the same as timeless awareness, as beingness, we have to, things, when they are pointed out in this realm of beingness, when we metabolize them through the habitual mind have a tendency to start sounding metaphysical really quick. But when you're in open, loving, timeless awareness, it is the actuality of our beingfulness. So, because I said timeless awareness, that is easily experienced. When you open up to that resonance of awareness, it's ever present. It does not fluctuate in time. It appears to fluctuate because our thoughts and feelings and emotions and perceptions are moving, and it seems to flicker. But we start opening up to it to go, oh, it's right there, it's right there. And then we start, from the practice and the praxis, we start having a simultaneous mind. We always fold it into our heart essence while perceiving the world directly, direct perception, and direct expression. So we start expressing ourselves from this heart essence, which is then always inspired by compassion. So these are not the meditations of bypassing what we are, transcending what we are, but fully metabolizing everything that we are, no longer through the small-minded, what about me mind, but through the openness of healing, timeless awareness. So can you feel that timelessness? Can you feel the embodied intuitive sense of being and beingfulness? Dzogchen and all these timeless awareness traditions are not a path of disassociation, detachment, or disembodiment, but the actuality. Not zoning out, but letting the natural flow, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and perceptions be met with the shining light of being full awareness so it can liberate itself. In one of his key instructions that Dzogchen Rinpoche, a beautiful, important teacher in the previous century, emphasized personal responsibility in practice and realization. He used to say, take the power in your own hands. That really resonates with the Dzogchen view that the teacher can point out the nature of awareness, but the yogi or the student must recognize and stabilize it. He also said, don't leave the key in someone else's pocket. So let's take a breath. Open up. So please right now, be the presence of boundless, spacious, luminous, loving awareness knowingly. It's the knowing. Loving, timeless awareness shines the light of knowing on all things and all beings and directly upon itself. It's the knowing of the knowingness of knowing. Let that knowing shine. Rest into the knowing. So I would like to do one little guided meditation, which actually is a bit of concentration, which a lot of you are usually not doing. You sit in open, spacious awareness, but I would like to point out the embodiment of this actuality of being. And then we open up into the spacious openness and we'll sit there for a while. So maybe close your eyes for a bit. No matter how I guide, you just sit as you wish. Maybe just want to sit here the way you usually do. Be free to be as however you wish, or join us a little bit in this collective flow. And if you a sky gazing wide open eye yogi, please do so. But even if you usually have your eyes open, maybe close them for a bit. And then we're going to just use concentration for a bit, and then we open up just that movement, that decontraction, is a very important perspective. So direct your mind like a boat rudder in the stream towards your breath, toward the expanding breath as it unfolds. Stay connected and intimate with every subtle nuance of that rising breath, from its very beginning to the end. And then orient your attention to the falling breath, tracing every nuance, close, close, for its full descent. And after the in and out breath completes its cycle, there is a space in between the out and the in. That space, the duration of that space depends on your need for oxygen, it doesn't matter. But in that space between the out breath and the in breath, feel into your body as a whole and what it feels like to be you in the world. Just for a moment, like a metacognitive overview, like an all at onceness, not particularizing. Just beautiful in breath, meticulously with it. Remaining completely immersed in the object of attention. Attention is focused awareness. And if you're distracted for a moment, that is just a sign of the beautiful creativity of your mind. Just return. Actually, that returning is super important. That's where we build muscle on non-distraction. Meticulously in, carefully, carefully out. And everything that we are, with our whole body in the world, luminous in the space. For maybe another 2 or 3 minutes. I'll start noticing in the gap between the out and the in breath that the boundaries of your body in its totality are not so confined to your anatomy. Notice that it kind of opens up to the soma, the space of the body, the luminous space of the body, which the size of which depends on what is arising in this moment, however, whatever your perspective is. Maybe it fills the whole room around you for a moment, or just opens. Just a little bit longer. Notice that the body is just space and light too, not so solid. Okay, let's take a collective breath. And now let go of the attention, relax the attention, and let it fall back into the openness of awareness from which it had arisen. Mingle your awareness with the space all around, and the space, and mingle the space all around with awareness. Allow the habitual mind, the usual personal identity to just relax too, to step aside. Yeah, that's what we're learning, right? That's our practice, where we learn to have our personal identity with all its stories. Step aside, so awareness and beingfulness may shine forth from the heart. And as it arises, as beingness, awareness arises, we can feel it through our embodiment, the actual felt sense of being. And when we feel it in ourselves, we can feel it in others. We can feel that resonance with other beings, human beings, animal beings, the being of things, the being of experience, and the being of all others on this Zoom call. The knowingness of the knowing of being. And now just stream out from your heart, from your awareness, from your beingness to everyone on this call. And open, it's a bi-directional, loving flow. Sometimes for a lot of us it's easier to give and a little bit more complex to receive. Open, open from the heart. I even had a time, and some people have been a bit concerned to letting others in like this, but realize that the actuality of beingness is only arriving in its purity. No personal psychology arrives on that carrier wave of being full love. So let's really use the actuality of the loving wisdom of this collective and facilitate each other's awakening. Taking the power in your own heart. Just let confidence arise, even beyond trust. Confidence, recognizing this guru within. Not holding the mind so tight. If some thoughts appear, let them flow. Just don't let them dim the brightness of your beingness. Allowing some of those patterns to arise. Come into the light of beingfulness, the healing light. Maybe some emotions. This world is a tender place. Let those emotions be shown upon too by this healing light. Really allow yourself to feel everything, but metabolize it to this openness, this light of openness, this knowing of knowingness. And when the mind starts to move a little, this is where the union happens between the boundless wholeness of being and the psychology of the personal identity. We don't have to reject anything that we are. It can be integrated, metabolized, and transformed. Then over time there's a diminishing or even an eradication of negative mind states and a flourishing of healing positive mind states in the world. And the teacher of peace arises on your seat from that perspective without a perspective. Let's take a breath together, synchronize, and rest right there. And feel into the confidence as you, as the healer in the world. The conduit of wholeness. And don't leave your own personal identity or psychology out of this light. Rest right there, yet shine brightly. Fresh mind. Ever youthful mind with a capital M. the guru is in you. Stop asking for the key. All ingredients for your awakening and enlightenment are fully present within your heart essence right now. You are the one you've been waiting for. When we stabilize this openness in our lives, we are no longer operating from within the constraints of individual consciousness. You can feel the actuality of these city energies, these wisdom energies, just rippling through, alive and radiant, and a soft, seamless translucency. This is what we are. This is our birthright. So here's a question that might sound metaphysical if you're in the patterned mind, but not in the openness of being. Let's take a breath. Be like mouth open, decontracting, open, spacious, luminous. Can you sense into this openness, this beingness? Can you sense that it's deathless in its timelessness, that it's birthless, that it's deathless? Do I dare to ask that? One of the most healing and caring things we can say to others is, I see you. But here we see each other from beingness, from the energy of beingness. So in seeing, in gazing, we don't really mean exclusively the visual gaze, but gazing from being, gazing from the heart essence, and then no longer someone having a gaze, gazing into the openness, into the field, but being the field, becoming the gaze. So then the boundless space and everything that moves, appearance, events, and the knowing are one unified whole. Maybe not dual, maybe not non-dual. How about interdual? Often when we start becoming liberated and more free in our stance in life, even when difficulties arise, when we among others that are having a real difficult time, we struggle finding the perfect words because sometimes they're not capable to hear because of course, they're only filtering it through their thought patterns. So this is the time when you can really use this direct transmission of your being fullness. It's something to remember. Sometimes there are no words, but yet we're strong and fierce. We are the protectors of innocence. It sometimes means that we don't sound so kind. Maybe it's fierce compassion. So sit there strong. You're being backed up by all of us and by the boundless wholeness, where you just stay open and decontracted. So stabilize and grow confident in your own creative luminosity. This is the path of creativity. not a path of passivity. You are a protector. And it's evident from you being here right now. Thank you for protecting us with the shine of your loving beingness. Dzogchen Rinpoche also said, don't ever take abuse, that just costs too much. So allowing things to come and go, and in the dissolving of all that arises in our realm of being, everything dissolves back into its original purity. Being the presence of awareness knowingly equals love. All appearance or everything flowing through the body, energy, and mind has the same texture as wind and rain. When our love flows authentically, free of attachment to outcome, it manifests as a radiant full presence with all we encounter, including the one on your seat. And so our willingness to be fully open to what we describe as our life is an expression of deep care, of harmony with ourselves. And from becoming so intimately true with ourselves, we emit harmonious healing gift waves in this boundless radiant field of empty awareness space, in this interconnected sea of beings. That's how I feel about you appearing with us in this space today, with nothing but gratitude. So we have a few minutes left. Let's take a breath together again. Just relax the mind, yet shine brightly. Getting ready for the transitionless transition. Not completely contracting into our personal identity when we move on to our day, but this simultaneous mind perspective. Here are last few words of Longchenpa. Crystal clarity without concept, unconstrained and unreal, utter relaxation without effort, completely clear with no residue left behind, free and easy without meditation. Be wholly at ease in your own being. What you are resolving here is the realization of timeless awareness. The absorption of non-meditation is beyond sessions and breaks. It is a vast, spontaneous presence. It is empty awareness. Okay, open awareness. The resting place of original purity, in which all ordinary phenomena have come to an end. In which all ordinary phenomena have come to an end. It's like where phenomena will not stop arising, but we start experiencing the divinity of all things and beings, and we start experiencing all things as clear light and as beauty, and all beings as love. May we be healed and whole again. May the world be healed and renewed. May we express innate love, happiness and peace. May we feel deeply into the boundless wholeness of our authentic nature. We vow to stay open and connected to our innermost wholeness and recognize each other as that love is only found through loving. May we all be healed. Thank you for choosing to be with us today. If you have any questions or anything came up that is something that needs expressing, it would be really healing if it resonated in the collective. Also, if you ever want to join, we have a meditation group that meets at 11 Eastern Time, 8 Western Time on Zoom every morning. So for now, just shine from the actuality of being. Thank you for all your kind words directly to me or in the group. That is for everyone in the Bardo too, in all Bardos. This Bardo where we are right now, you meditative Bardo where you are every moment of your life now, and the Bardos beyond. I don't speak beyond the edge of life and death. That is beyond my pay grade. I'll leave that to lamas. I did say, can you feel into this being deathless and birthless? That's maybe a nice meditation to once in a while look into. Do you feel into that? It becomes so clear. We have to learn to articulate ourselves directly, right? So we become like the mouthpiece of this boundless wholeness in the world. So that's a little bit of an over application of emptiness, over application of openness. I'm sometimes like, I just want to be quiet when I feel open like this, but keep in mind that there will be times that you have to speak from this place. And thank you for saying that. That's already... Hi, Nicole. Good to see you.
It's fascinating. May I?
Yes, please, please.
I work in cybersecurity.
Wow. Okay.
And it's you mentioned the duality or the interduality, and which would almost like saying there's two and then it splits to three, or almost like lineates to three.
Sure. Yeah.
And where we revolve around the subject matter, there's this matter that lies underneath, which is kind of like the bottom line. And then there's a bunch around that, which is like four. And
Yes.
that's the whole thing.
Right.
Which is almost like,
beautiful.
thank you. But it's almost like when I think about the Dharma, in the system, it all comes together with the boomies and the bardo,
Right.
which is really just kind of like, wow, wow, wow. So thank
Right.
you.
Oh, no, thank you very much. That's beautiful. And thank you for speaking because that really is good for all of us. But so then we all often get the 10 this and the 4 that and the 4 times, you know, like the past, the present, and the future, and then timeless awareness. And that contains all of them. And then, you know, the 3 levels of the source, the Dharmakaya, and the archetypical realm with all its beautiful potentiality, the Sambhogakaya, and then us in the world, the Nirmanakaya, the Buddha in the world. And oh, it's 3 again. And, you know, so, but yes, how else can we articulate if we come kind of into some categorizations? But then we drop all categorizations and speak from there. And then ultimately, timeless awareness takes over the functions of the mind. And now, that's it. Okay, I think we have reached our time. We're pretty good here about keeping strict time. So thank you once again and for allowing me to hold your hearts today. That makes me very happy. Be well today. Bye, everyone.